Hey folks, how's it going? So I'm out here doing a second tilling of my garden, and I wanted to give you guys an update on something that I've noticed. Now this is the fourth year I've planted a garden in this spot. The first year, it didn't really do anything, primarily because this is really heavy packed clay soil here, and on one end of the garden, about 3 to 4 inches down, is a layer of sandstone. But 2 years ago, I came in and I dumped a couple of yards worth of soil amendment on it, several bales of peat moss, and then I had a neighbor give me a whole trailer load of rabbit manure, probably about 4 to 6 yards of rabbit manure that I dumped on this garden and tilled in. The first year, like I said, the garden didn't do anything hardly. I didn't get much to grow beyond some beans and just a few of those. The second year, after all of that amendment, it was like there was a major explosion in the garden. Everything just blew up on me. I had more plants than I knew what to, more harvest than I knew what to do with. I had to give away a bunch of beans and tomatoes, and I had so much growth on my beans that I had my runs anchored with T-posts in the ground. They were anchored like 2 foot in the ground, and the beans were so heavy and growing so big, they pulled one of the T-posts out of the ground. All right, so last year I didn't add any amendment to the soil. I just tilled it and planted it. It still had a really good year, a lot of really good growth, but not quite to the same level as the second year, but it was still a really, really good year. All right, so I came out this year, and like I said, I'm doing my second tilling now, and I noticed something during the first tilling, and I want to show something to you here. So let me pause this for a second, flip the camera around and show you. All right, so I've noticed a lot of worms tilling it up this year. A lot of them. Cover them bad boys back up. There's a lot of ants in here too, but I've noticed a lot of worms, bunches of them. And that's a good thing, because the first 2 years, let me flip this back around here. Okay, so that's a really good thing, because for the first couple of years, there was no life in this soil, really. I could till it up, and it was just really heavy packed clay. Even after that second year of all that heavy amendment, it was still just really heavy packed clay. But you didn't see any bugs in the soil. You didn't see grubs, you didn't see ants, you didn't see pill bugs or roly-polies, whatever you want to call them. And then there was certainly no sign of any worms. Well, I came out here and I tilled it up a couple of days ago, and I noticed worms, quite a few. And then I started tilling up this morning, getting ready to actually plant, because I was intending to plant some stuff today. And I'm seeing a ton of ants, which I'm not thrilled about, but I'm seeing a lot of pill bugs, I'm seeing grubs, I'm seeing multiple worms, and I'm only about 2/3 of the way through the garden. So all of that amendment I did in that second year, all the compost, or all the soil amendment, the peat moss, the rabbit manure, all that really helped the soil. It brought a bunch of life into the soil. Plus, like I said, the first year it was really heavy packed clay. I mean, really, really hard. It took a long time just to till it up and break up all that soil, all that clay. But now, I mean, it's still a little hard packed, but nowhere near to where it was when I tilled it that first year. It's a lot looser. There's a lot more organic material in the ground. When I go over this every spring with my mower, the bulk of the material I'm taking I compost, but there's still a large amount of plant material, organic material, that gets left in the soil to break down. And I usually till it 2 or 3 times before I plant, so that I can kill a bunch of that plant material and just let it sit and start breaking down. This is actually building really good quality soil. I've still got a long way to go. It's not where I want it yet, but I am seeing progress. I mean, it's still got a lot of heavy clay in it, but it's actually getting to where I can come out here and I can actually pick up a handful and it'll crumble away. It doesn't just come up in big hard chunks like it did that first year. So soil amendments, whatever you can add to your garden, whether it's compost, just piling up leaves in the winter and letting it sit and break down all the way until spring, using a leaf chipper or a leaf shredder to shred up some leaves and mix in your soil, adding in peat moss, adding in rabbit manure or chicken manure or anything like that. I'm telling you right now, I've got a lot of work left to do. I'm not denying that, but I'm seeing progress. I'm seeing an improvement in the soil, and anything like that you can add to your soil, if you're like me and you have heavy clay soil, anything like that you can add to your soil will help. There's just a lot of life in this soil now that I didn't see those first 2 years. And I guarantee you that if I continue this, I'm not going to be able to add any amendment to the garden this year beyond my own compost and whatever. I hoped to be able to get some more soil amendment and more peat moss. I'll have to put that off to next year, but anything you can add to that soil will improve your soil, and it doesn't take as long as you might think. Like I said, all of that manure and all that peat moss and soil amendment that I added in that second year, I got an explosion of growth, immediate returns. And this is lasting returns because last year was still a really good year and I didn't do anything to the soil. This year, I'm not going to be able to do too much to the soil. You know, money's tight. I got to watch what I spend money on. But I am composting large clumps of weeds and stuff that I pull out of the garden. I am composting all that, and that will eventually get worked back into my raised beds and into the garden here. But this is just, I just wanted to give you guys an update on how this was turning out. 4 years in, I'm seeing a huge improvement over that first year, a major improvement. I got a long way to go, a lot of work left to do, a lot of amendments to do, but if you add to it every year, if you build on it every year, it'll only get better. And I guess that's the point of the whole video, just give you an update on it and just let you know that put back into the soil. Don't just plant a garden and take from the soil each year. Try to put something back in. It will pay itself off in dividends. You'll get it back. It'll repay you for all that material and all that effort that you put back into the garden. So I've still got a little bit left to till up here. I'm going to get started, get that done, but I just want to give you guys an update on this. I'm seeing an improvement in my soil. I'm seeing life in my soil that I haven't seen in the past 2-3 years. And it's got me excited. I wish I could add some more compost and stuff to it this year. I'll add what I can. I'll pile up leaves and stuff at the end of the growing season, and I'll dump a bunch of stuff on the garden then and let it overwinter. But it's paying off, folks. I'm seeing an improvement, and I'm excited about it. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, folks, take care.